What's going on, everybody? Welcome to day 2 of Indian Wells. And we're starting with Dimmitrov versus Atmane. There's not much going on today. It's a weird day. It's not unusual. We know that the start of these kind of tournaments does get a bit of a slow run up, and then tomorrow is going to be there's going to be more matches than we can even begin to imagine. But today's a bit of a light day, but we've still got some matches. We've got some big names playing. We're watching Dimmitrov, Atmane right now. Winner plays Alcaraz. So this is sort of important to watch to figure out, if Alcaraz has to worry about these guys. Then we've got Venus coming up as well, straight after this. And then, I don't know. I don't know what we watch next because it's a little bit, there's not much going on. There's a lot of Americans playing on the big courts tonight, obviously. But yeah, I'm open to suggestions because nothing stands out really. The Venus match, we'll watch Venus because obviously it's we don't know how long she's going to play, so that's fun. But then after that, I don't know. But I'm open to suggestions, so let me know. Tomorrow's schedule's out already? I don't think so. Court index is a 38.7. Really? All right. That's. Where'd you see that? Any news on second round matches? Schedule? No schedule yet. Schedule will come out later today for tomorrow. And then the winners of today will play on Sunday. On Saturday. So the winner of this match will play Alcaraz. GMP versus Myshak. Winner plays Djokovic. So we'll keep an eye on that as well because that's happening at the moment. But yeah, so there's no indication on when anyone's playing. I'm going to guess that tomorrow Sinner's playing probably during the day because usually the first couple of rounds Americans get priority, or at least they don't, maybe not get priority, but they usually get, I guess, night session. And also I think Sinner would rather play during the day. I don't think Sinner wants to play, I don't think he'll want to play at night. Because there's matches like, Shelton Opelka, I think Coco's playing tomorrow, Sabalenka, right? So I think there's probably more likely we're going to see someone like, Coco play at night, Shelton play at night, and Nissimova playing tomorrow. So I would guess, and also because of maybe, broadcast as well, that, the tournament would probably prefer, or the TV would probably prefer that Sinner plays during the day so that then the Italian audience can watch him. But again, total guess. Zverev versus Berrettini. I have a feeling that's going to be at night. Zverev always seems to play late at night. And I think Zverev Berrettini is probably going to be the last match on center court just because that seems to be something that Zverev always seems to be playing at the latest night matches. So it might be like Gauff into Zverev tomorrow night, Sinner during the day, maybe. Total guesstimation, but maybe, and then put Shelton on during the day against Opelka. I think Shelton Opelka during the day is probably more fun because the serving will be a little bit better. Like, in the night session, it usually gets really cold, so it might be better if you put the two big servers on during the day to see them use their powers, right? But again, total guess. We'll find out the schedule in like 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. So yeah, so I don't know, where are you getting the information that this court is quick? Because I have not seen that. Because the 38 is sort of a medium court, and usually Indian Wells is the slowest court in the world. So I don't know where you're getting that info from. Point me in the right direction. I'll check it out. Because there's also a difference between the center court and the outside court. So center court is usually slower, I think, and then the outside courts are a little bit more, a little bit slower. Showed it at the beginning, did they? Did I miss that? Hang on, let me rewind. Let me check. It flashed up on the screen. Okay. Oh, at the start of the broadcast. Okay, hang on. I missed the very, very start. By the way, chat, these guys have played twice before. It's 1-1 in the head-to-head. Atman won the last match in straights. But Dimmitrov won the match before that in straights. Yeah, both matches were one match was last year, one match was last year, which was Atman winning in Acapulco, and then they played in Rome on the clay, where Dimmitrov won in 24. So obviously the Acapulco match is the one that makes that's the one that is more relevant, obviously, right? Let me have a look. I need to see this because obviously the court speed is very important. Especially Indian Wells, because if Indian Wells is quicker this year, that might change things a little bit. Who would Alcaraz wish to play? Probably Atman, just because he's played Dimmitrov, and I know he beat Dimmitrov pretty badly last time they played, but he still doesn't want to play somebody that he knows that has a win over him, right? Whereas I think Atman, it depends. I mean, if Atman comes out here and serves ridiculously well and looks like a beast, maybe you want to play Dimmitrov. But I would say Carlos would probably rather play Atman. Just because Atman is not as... Dimmitrov is a little bit more dangerous and can beat Carlos. We know that. We've seen that. A few times, actually, we've seen that. It flashed up on the screen. Where? I'm trying to find it. Did I miss it? I must have missed it. Hang on. Court pace index on court 1 is 38. Okay. What about on court 2? 38 is a big jump from 32. Are you saying it was on Tennis TV? Speaking of Tennis TV, we're doing a collaboration with Tennis TV throughout the season. If you weren't here yesterday, you would have seen that. But that is some big news, chat. Big news. Big news. There we go. Scan the QR code. Also, there's a link in the description if you want to click that. If you're on your phone, you can click the link instead. Because I know how hard it is to scan a QR code if you're on your phone. But you can also click the link in the description. Or click the link in the chat. What is the news? That's the news. By the way, chat, speaking of news, I was also hearing, I read what how Medvedev experience of coming to America was. Man, he went through a journey. Big news for the unemployed. What? What's big news for the unemployed? I don't know about you, but I mean, well, most people in the chat are employed, so I don't know what to talk about. Anyways, Atman to serve. I'm going to go Dimmitrov in 3. Just joking. Okay. All right, double fold Atman to start. As that goes out by Atman is left 30. Do we get a discount? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Where to watch? Click the link. Scan the QR code. You can watch it through the Tennis TV application. All right, Dimmitrov hits that backhand wide. Good serve, Atman. Atman, big lefty serve. I think, what was it? Was it Cincinnati when he played Sinner last year? That was the That was the breakout. I'm pretty sure for Atmane. By the way, chat, I'm loving the Tennis TV graphics, and I'm not just saying this to make you click the link, but I'm loving these. I love that how they're. I don't know. It's just I'm impressed. As somebody who likes graphic design and all that kind of stuff, seeing the way that they've the upgrades they've made on the broadcast for Tennis TV and tennis the ATP. I think it's just really cool. I like it. Anyway, there you go. Visually, it's very fun to watch. Anyways, that goes out by Atmane, 30-40. By the way, Gene, you're here because court speeds. Have you seen that the court speeds are 38 on court 1? Did you see that? Can you clarify? Yeah, Tennis TV is pay to watch, but it's the best place to watch all the men's tennis matches outside of the Grand Slams. It is it's a one-stop shop for all the ATP matches. As that goes into the forehand of Atmane in the net. There's the break. Dimitrov 1-0. 1-0. Also, if you click the link or you scan the code, it does help out the channel. So appreciate anybody who does go through the links. Appreciate it. What is the time of Alex Eala game? We don't know yet. Tomorrow. What's your opinion on Tsitsipas? What is he doing wrong, and do you see him improving? Yeah, look, I'm seeing, and look, this is. I feel like this is almost and it's been like this probably for about 18 months, right? And I get it. Steph has not been as good as he was, and he's struggling. But I don't know. I feel like this year he's actually not been bad. He just hasn't. He's been unseeded. That's his biggest problem, I think. If you look at the result, the losses. We talked about this yesterday after he lost to Chapo. Look at the players he's lost to. He doesn't have a good record against those players. He's lost to. He has a bad record against Chapo. He loses. He has a bad record against Humbert. That's his last match he lost. He lost to Rublev, who he has, obviously they've played a lot in the past, and Rublev's got wins. I don't think he's I think this year, if he's looking at this year, he shouldn't be. I mean, if anybody's thinking that he's had a bad year, win-loss record, yeah, okay. Rankings drop, yeah, okay. But I don't think he should be super unhappy with the losses he's had, because he's losing the guys that he's lost to before. It's not it's just bad. I think he just is getting real bad draws, and he just needs a little bit of luck where he doesn't have to play somebody he has a losing record to. Even losing to Mahatch wasn't a bad one. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Mahatch almost made it to the quarters of the Australian Open. Pushed Musetti to 5 after beating Steph in the second round, right? So, yeah, I don't know. And look, and I know it's been over the last 18 months or so, Steph's fall from the top 10, and I don't know, Tsitsipas, maybe is an easy target for that. But I don't know. I don't think he's doing that badly this year. And the problem is that his rankings drop. So when I say, he's not doing too badly, and you go, well, he's dropped from 30 to 50. And it's well, yeah, because he had a bad draw in Dubai, defending champion, lost a lot of points. He had a bad draw this week, had some points to defend. So I reckon once we get to the clay, if Tsitsipas if he can just avoid playing, Alcaraz in the second round, or playing, somebody huge in the first couple of rounds, if he can just get a nice little draw, he could make a run in Monte Carlo. We know he can win that tournament. He can make a run in Rome, right? He could do something at Roland Garros. The problem he's going to have now is that he's going to be super unseeded, right? So it was before, it was he was on the cusp, right? He was in the 30s, so it's well, if you're in the top 30, you're going to be seeded. If you're outside the top 30, it's going to be a rough time. He's got to try and get back in the top 30 just to avoid these guys. Had he have been seeded, he wouldn't have played Chapo first round. He might have played Chapo second round, but he wouldn't have played Chapo first round. So, those kind of things really matter. But it's also I don't know. I just don't think Tsitsipas is. I don't think he's. You got to dig a little deeper than just going, well, his record this year is blah blah blah, right? I'm like, he's not. He's just getting some rough draw, especially lately. Last couple of tournaments, he's just playing against guys that he has a bad record against. I mean, that Medvedev win and the Fritz win at the start of the year, those have been bigger highlights than the losses, I think. Like, I look at those 2 wins and I'm like, holy shit, that was some good wins. Medvedev then went on to win Dubai. I mean, it was a great win the other day in Doha. But then he's just had some, like I said, the last 3 tournaments, he's had some rough draws against guys he's lost to. Forehand rally as we had a backhand now from Dimitrov, sliced. But again, that's what I see, and that's one person's opinion. 30-40. As with a forehand from Atmane into the slice of Dimitrov on the stretch, but it's in the net. We're back on serve. 1-1. 1-all. If he starts losing to, like, players outside the top 100 in the second round, then I'll be going, well, what the hell's going on? But I don't know. I feel I'm a little more forgiving to Steph, I think. Look at my previous comment. Oh, what happened? They fly quicker through the court, it seems. Oh, okay. So the courts maybe are a little quicker. I guess we need more of just like the 1 day of data. We need look, it's not, court speed is one factor, right? Also air speed. Because night sessions are going to be slower than the day sessions because of the airspeed. All right, Atmane serving into the sun. Yeah, so coffee, it's just a collaboration. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. Something that we're going to be working on for the entire season. So yeah, and don't worry, I'm working behind the scenes to try and get some things going. So, yeah. Don't worry. We'll be getting there. All right, love 15. As the return goes in the forehand of Atmane. Back in our slice from Dimitrov. Into the forehand of Atmane. Off the tape to the forehand of Dimmy is Atmane backhand pass, but Dimitrov with a lovely volley winner. And it's love 30. Love 30. So let me have a look at when they played last year. By the way, Dimitrov did play Alcaraz last year, and it wasn't a pretty match. He got beat pretty bad, but did they play last year or the year before? Hang on. When did they play? Didn't I say last year? I thought I saw last year. Maybe it was the year before. Hang on. Oh, no, they played last week. Sorry. I'm thinking it's 2025. Love 40. Sorry, they played last week. Literally, they played... Sorry, I thought they played last year. They played in 2024, and then they played last week. And Atmane beat Dimitrov last week. Shit, that changes everything. I thought they played this. Sorry, they literally played last week. So we could talk about that. Anyways, good serve from Atmane. It's 15-40. Sorry, I completely... I thought they played in Acapulco last year. I read that wrong. Yeah, they played... They literally played last week. It was 6-3, 6-3. Atmane got the win in an hour and 20 minutes. As Dimitrov hits that one wide. Good body serve, Atmane. It's 30-40. Don't worry, Chad. I'll wake up eventually. All right, first there's a fault, second serve. As the backhand return goes to the net, and it's deuce. So yeah, so some of the tactics that Atmane was employing last week when they played that were effective. Inside out forehand was something that was really working. Also, forehand down the line as well, which is interesting because that's targeting, because as a lefty, that's targeting the Dimitrov forehand. which you would think, well, Dimitrov's got a good forehand, a good backhand as well, but you would think the forehand is the Dimitrov shot. By the way, Atmane's trying to get the attention of somebody in the crowd who was, they're having a whole, conversation. They don't even pay attention. Hello? Yeah, go inside. Just because you paid $1 million to sit there doesn't mean you get to own the stadium. So the inside out forehand and also the forehand line was down the line was really important for Atman last week. So let's see if those work, or if Dimitrov tries to go more to the backhand side and avoid Atman's forehanders, and that goes out by Dimmy. Advantage, Atman. And then Dimitrov, he was hitting some decent volleys last week. That was a tactic that was working. But obviously he went down. So maybe, again, maybe the volleys, try and come to the net more. But something that was really not working, and this goes hand in hand with what I just said about Atman's forehand down the line shots from last week, as Atman hits it wide and it's deuce. Dimitrov was losing a lot of points, and he wasn't doing very well when he was hitting backhands cross court. And if you remember, as a lefty, hitting a backhand cross court goes straight to Atman's forehand. And if Atman's hitting forehands down the line and hitting winners inside out forehand winners, Dimitrov better, maybe go down the line with the backhand, right? Try and mix that backhand up and avoid the forehand side of Atman. Arian. Advantage Atman by line.
Hi, how is your morning going?
Good. Thank you for the $2. Now it's been all right. I woke up and now I'm here. It hasn't. The morning's barely started. Sun's not even up yet. All right, advantage Atman. First serve was a fault. Second serve. Second serve the back in Dimitrov. Dimitrov goes long. And Atman holds. 2-1. Now the pirate voice is back, and we're not changing it. People hated the other voice more, so we're sticking with this one. All right. Also, chat, a couple of the stats from last week for shot quality of I love that they played literally last week. We could talk about what happened, and we can see what changes Dimitrov has to make to reverse the score. So Atman, shot quality wise, over the serve, return, forehand, backhand, was in the lead against Dimitrov. He led the serve with an 8.0, which is about his average. Dimitrov was at 7.8, so it wasn't terrible. Dimitrov's returns, though, that was a problem. He was only at a 5.4. And Atman was returning very well last week in Acapulco, 7.1. Atman's forehand was off the charts, was an 8.7, but that goes, again, hand in hand with all the things I was just saying about how Atman was effectively going down the line against Dimmy and using that forehand to win points. He was at an 8.7. That is a very high, way higher than his average. And a 6.7 on the backhand side for Atman. But, I mean, Dimitrov was a below average on the forehand, but everything else was sort of around, and the returns. But the backhand was okay, but it was really Atman's forehand that did all the damage, and Dimitrov just couldn't get it going on his forehand. 30 errors from Dimitrov last week when he played, and 11 was on the forehand side when they played last week. Atman hit, 16 winners, 16 errors. But yeah, a lot of forced errors, which you'd expect coming off from Atman's side. He was forcing Dimitrov on the errors on the return, so his serving was very, very good. Let me have a look. I wonder if he was serving. We were talking about this with Chapo yesterday, how effective his serve is against Tsitsipas on that backhand side, that swinging lefty forehand we're talking about yesterday. So Atman was picking on Dimitrov, especially on the deuce side. He was picking on the tee serve, and he hit a lot of aces down the tee. picking on that backhand of Dimmitrov on that first shot, on that first serve, I should say. So yeah, a lot of serves down the tee. 83% of his serves the first serves were down the tee against Dimmy last week. So picking on that backhand on the ad side. And then he mixed it up a little bit on the deuce side. On the deuce side, he was down the tee. On the ad side, he was mixing up a little bit, which is interesting. And then yeah, second serves were pretty much to the backhand when he could get there. Or some of them actually second serve at the body was a popular tactic last week for Atmane as well. Interesting. All right. 40 love. And yeah, Atmane serving last week was crazy. Only faced a couple break points. Saved both of them. All right. Nice serving Dimmy. 2-2. Oh, okay. Here we go. First serve points won higher on average so far this week. Okay. Interesting. Oh yeah, I forgot there was a ball change as well. Yeah, maybe the court speeds are the same, but the ball change might be the factor. I don't think it's been super hot, so I don't know if the conditions, if it's the weather that's been. I mean, if it was. Then again, it is. I mean, it's not super hot, so you wouldn't think that it was. By the way, there's a wind warning apparently happening. Oh, that was yesterday. Don't worry about it. It is windy out there though, and it's going to get windier, so it's pretty breezy out there. Yeah, so maybe it's the ball change. Maybe that's the reason why we're getting a lot more. Why the first serves are more effective right now? Because we would have heard more about. We would have seen more that like if they changed the court, right? We would have seen something about that. So it might be the ball change. Which is resulting in servers doing better to start the tournament. I know Fritz said something about the ball, or said something about the. Was he talking about the pen ball or was he talking about Dunlop? I can't remember. He was talking about something. Anyways, Dimmitrov with a backhand flick down the line winner. That's a beautiful Dimmy special down the line, 40-15. It's only 23 Celsius, so it's not stinking hot. Fritz was complaining about the ball. I don't think he was complaining. I think he was just discussing the ball. Was he talking about the Dunlop balls? He didn't like the Dunlop balls. Is that what he said? All right, Atmane holds 3-2. Because he was saying that the ball. Now let me have a listen. He said it's going to be interesting. They're changing the balls at Indian Wells this year to Dunlop balls. And Dunlop balls is what we play with at most tournaments. But I also think it plays... The Dunlop ball plays slow. When it's worn out. So what do you say? Wait, what? Dunlop ball plays really slow. When it's worn out and they've been wearing it out, they've been wearing it out really fast. And he says, I think the quality of the ball has dropped exponentially. Okay. All right, so... By the way, if you think Taylor Fritz is complaining, I don't think you know what complaining is. I feel like more people complain about Fritz not complaining. You know what I mean? Fritz was complaining. You're complaining. He was just discussing and being like, yeah, I don't like the ball. While he was playing League of Legends. He was having a conversation with his chat. I mean, literally, yeah, chat, don't get fooled. Fritz wasn't... I don't think I've heard Fritz complain. Like, if you think that's complaining, I mean, call the manager. 15 love. 15 love. But yeah, so that's interesting though, because, well, the data would suggest that, again, well, if the court speed's a 38, which is a medium court, the temperatures are not hot, so you wouldn't think that you wouldn't think it's the temperature that's causing it to be quick to start the first couple of days. As with a volley from Dimmitrov, oh, he just missed it, 15-0. Expressing an opinion. Yeah, exactly, yeah. He was literally playing League while chatting about, answering a question from his chat. And he was just like, yeah, I don't like the ball. Yeah, limited data too. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to know because, we'll wait until the big names come up as well because, we'll hear from them as well. We'll hear their feedback. Like if Alcaraz is saying yeah, it's faster than last year, or Fritz is saying something, or one of the big dogs are saying something about how the conditions are compared to last year, then we'll get a better idea of what's going on. But yeah. Also, if somebody has an upset loss, we can't just blame the court all the time. 30-15. Sometimes we got to give credit to the opponents. All right. 30-15. As Dimmitrov comes to the net, but it goes in the net by Atmane. 40-15. We've got Venus coming up after this. $40-15. As Dimmitrov with a forehand goes in the forehand of Atmane. He shanks the smash, and then Dimmitrov puts away he shanks the lob, and Dimmitrov puts away the smash. And it is 3-all. All right. Ooh, chat so far. Performance rating 6.71 for Atmane, 6.72 for Dimmitrov. Interesting. Anyways, Dimmitrov with the backhand down the line, but Atmane missed the volley. Ooh. That was a poor miss. Love 15. And so far, it looks like Dimmitrov, shot quality-wise, is better on the ground. Returns are in Atmane's favor, but on the ground strokes, Dimmitrov is leading. His quality of shot is higher. As with a 4 now cross court from Dimmitrov, and then he comes in with a volley winner. Beautiful play by Dimmy. Love 30. Love 30. Serve again from Atmane. return from Dimmitrov. Atmane comes to the net, and Dimmitrov hits it in the net. 15-30. Also, Chad, I can give you a little insight into what's going on with... So the Atmane, the inside-out forehand and the inside-in forehand that was working so well against Dimmitrov last week, right now is ice cold. It's not working at all right now. So that strat that was that helped him win last week in straights is completely off at the moment. And he's not really winning many points with the forehand down the line yet either. Dimmitrov is not letting him. He's going cross court with his forehand to the backhand of Atmane, which is interesting. And that's working very effectively. Also, Dimmy's coming to the net a little bit as well, which is helping. He hits the forehand cross court into the backhand of Atmane, down the line of the backhand of Dimmitrov, sliced into the forehand of Atmane, and Atmane in the net, 15-40. 15-40. Thoughts on Carlos's new haircut? It's totally normal haircut. Like, I've seen a lot of people have that haircut. All right. Break points, Dimmitrov. 15-40. First serve's a fault. Second serve. Double fault. All right. Dimmy breaks. 4-3. Do you know if anybody in Dubai made it to Indian Wells? Okay, yeah. So I read this morning, Medvedev gave his story of how he got. So what happened was, so Khachanov, Medvedev, and Rublev were all stranded in Dubai. Also, Haliavera, the doubles player from Finland, I think is still in Dubai. As far as, or he might have got out now, but he was still there. Medvedev and those guys made their way out, and he didn't get out. I don't know if he got out though. Maybe in recent days. Anyway, so Medvedev, they all went to Oman separately. They drove to Oman. It was like a 4-hour drive or something like that. And apparently Medvedev's driver forgot his passport or lost his passport. So when they got to the border, they had to go back. They found the passport in the car park of where they were, got picked up. Then they went back, got to Oman, and they met Khachanov and Rublev there. And then they all got on the plane, a plane to Istanbul, and then Istanbul they got to California. So yeah, so it was a mission for Mehdi. He was going all over the place. So yeah, so they all met in Oman. They all got on a plane, and they all flew out together. And then Haliavera, yeah, he's a Finnish doubles player. I think the reason he stayed is because it was going to be like tens of thousands of dollars to get out at that time. Like, not just to get a plane out of Oman. I don't know if it was. I think it might have been. I don't think it was a commercial flight. So I think for Haliavera, especially, I mean, you had to make such a decision, right? Like, who knew that it was, you weren't going to get out for, 4 days if you didn't leave at that second, right? I mean, it was a split decision to leave and try and move on. So I think from what I was reading, he put a blog on his website, I think, and I was reading a little bit, and he was saying that like it was like tens of thousands of dollars to fly out from Oman, and he was like, "Nah, I'm good." He didn't think it was worth it, but I guess again, I don't know who. I mean, there's a lot of journalists still there, right? It's not just tennis players. They're the ones obviously that need to play the next tournament, but there's journalists that are still stranded. That were stranded there. There are officials, right? That were stranded there. So yeah, it wasn't just it's not just the players. There's a lot of people that are involved in tennis as well. That got stuck as well, And then not only that, but there's also like other tournaments going on in the Middle East that are like challenger events, future events. I know one of the Aussie players got stuck in Qatar, I think. maybe. And then he got out yesterday and flew back to Australia. Oliveira tried to get to Oman, but it failed. Yeah, I think, did he get stopped? Sorry, yeah, no. He was saying in his, I mucked it up. He was saying in his blog that it was like really expensive to fly out, but he tried and they got turned around at the border. I think is that what happened? 40-15? But either way, Medvedev, Rublev, Khachanov, they're here, they're playing, they're in California. So yeah. Thank you, Indigo. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining. 40-15. As that goes out by Atman and Dimmitrov 5-3 to start this match. Yeah, I think there was a bunch of challenger events that got cancelled in the region because there was a lot of tournaments going on at the time. Let me have a look. McCabe? He was playing in the Qatar Open. Was he playing? Wait, hang on. Was he playing in the quali? Wait, no, he wasn't. Hang on. Maybe he was playing a futures event. He's playing Doha qualies, and then I don't know what he was playing. Was he playing an ITF event? Maybe he might have been playing an ITF event because he lost in the qualies at Doha, but then he was still in the area. — 15-0. Oh, thanks, Gene. That's what I was looking for. I couldn't see that. 38.7 for Stadium 1. Last year was 30. That's crazy. I wonder why the sudden change. That's crazy. 15-0. Actually, I have a theory. As we're 4 now from Atman, that's an inside 4-hand winner. There you go, 30-15. This is a theory, chat. Maybe with the ball change, because they kind of, maybe they're trying to offset the ball change. Because if they think if what Fritz is saying is true, and he would know because he plays tennis and plays with these tennis balls, if the Dunlop balls go flat after a couple of games, maybe making the courts quicker will offset the ball the ball getting flat. You know what I mean? Like if the ball after 2 games is hard to hit winners off, maybe they've increased the court speed to kind of offset to offset it, you know. But I haven't heard anything about the court being changed, so I don't know. Like I don't think the tournament directors or anything. Again, we'll wait until the players have said some words, because when they've done when they've talked about it, we'll get a better idea. But yeah, if they've upped the pace of the court, maybe it's to offset the tennis balls slowing down. So like the first couple of games with the new balls and with this court are going to feel like rocket, and then feel like rocket pace. But then as the games go on and the balls wear out, maybe it goes back to Indian Wells slows down a little bit. They changed court manufacturers. Wasn't that a couple of years ago though? Because that wasn't this year, was it? Yeah, they changed that last year, right? Yeah, so last year they were with PlexiPave, and they switched to Lay Cold last year, which is the same surface as Miami Indian and US Open. Lay Cold is believed to play a little faster, but depending on who you ask. It plays fast if you ask this person, and it plays slow if you ask this person. I know Alcaraz said that it was playing a little fast last year, but then again, maybe you got to think also, maybe it's like psychological too. It's like, oh, different court, different speed. Like, I don't know. We need, it's hard to get, like, the players obviously have the best feel of what's going on, but also, like, the data shows that whether or not courts are fast or slow. Medvedev was critical about the slow court pace back in the past. He said he's seen so far that it doesn't seem to much difference, and in fact, maybe even slower and grittier. Oh, he said it was slower last year than it was before. Interesting. Sabalenka said last year that the courts were a little bit faster, which is good. I'll tell you after my first match, and yeah, so interesting. Anyways, Dimitrov serving for the set, 15-love. Raducanu said last year that she felt that the courts were not so much faster, but the bounce was a little lower. Okay. So if the bounce wasn't as high, maybe it means if you're hitting the flat, the ball stays lower, right, and skids through a little bit more. Anyways, let's just watch some tennis. 15-love. 15-love. Because at the end of the day, what does this all mean? I don't know. We'll wait until we'll see what the results are. Up goes a lob by Atmane. It goes long, 30-love. It'll be interesting. You know who I'm interested to hear from? Jannik Sinner, because Sinner didn't play last year. So this will be the first time that Sinner's playing with... Like the last time Sinner played this tournament, right? 2 years ago, the balls were different, the courts were different. So I want to hear what Jannik Sinner has to say, because he's dealing with this whole new situation, right? Because he didn't play last year, so he didn't get to play on the new courts, and he didn't get to play... no one's played with the new ball yet. So that I'm interested to see what Jannik Sinner says. I think his opinion will be very interesting, or his observations will be interesting, because 2 years ago he was playing with a completely different ball and the different manufacturer of court. As like as the net by Atmane, 40-love, 40-love. So Jannik Sinner is who I want to hear from. he's the guy I want to hear from. I want to hear what he has to say. He'll have the he can say how different it is, or how different it isn't. 40-love. Dimmitrov serves to take the first set. Whew. Serving the backhand of Atmane. Return goes short. Dimmitrov with a drop shot. Atmane's going to get there with a slice. Dimmitrov volley. Behind Atmane. Too good. Nice work from Dimmy. 6-4. All right. Dimmitrov takes the first 6-4. All right. Good play by Dimmy all round, as he takes the first set. Remember, these guys played last week, so they played in Acapulco, different conditions, different situation, but still, Atmane's, riding off a win. And literally the last match that Dimmitrov played was against Atmane, so he's played him twice in a row now. Pardon me, twice in a row now. But a good solid set from Dimmy. 6.8 performance rating for Dimmitrov and a 6.3 for Atmane. Atmane had one break point, first game of the match, second game of the match, he broke, but Dimmitrov broke twice out of the 5 times he had the opportunity to do so. And, yeah. Dimmitrov, 5 winners, 8 errors, 6 out of 7 at the net, so great play at the net. And Atmane, only the 2 winners and the 10 errors. So only a couple of winners there, and those winners were one forehand and 1 volley. He hit 3 aces though. Dimmitrov with the 4 volley winners out of the 6 winners he hit, so that's interesting. And Atmane's forehand, is a little bit of a problem. Not having the best time on the volleys. Also, Atmane's serve is a little bit down. He's only winning 65% of first serves, which is below his average of 74% first serve points won. He's getting about his average of first serves in, but he's missing a lot more. He's not winning as many points on the first serve as he usually does. And like I said, that tactic last week that he was using against Dimmitrov effectively with the forehand down the line and getting that forehand to go crazy is not working as well as it was last week. He's not hitting those, and that's because his forehand's not working as well as it was last week. Last week, as I mentioned earlier, his forehand was at an 8.7 shot quality. And right now, he's sitting at a 5.5. So his forehand is not even close to last week. And Dimitrov's forehand is working a lot better. Also, his backhand. So the groundies from Dimitrov compared to last week are working so much better. Does that mean hits a forehand down the line? Dimitrov forehand on the stretch goes long, and it's 15-0. So 30 love. Yeah, Atmane's serve and forehand combo are not working as well as they were in Mexico last week. Return from Dimmitrov goes out. It's 40 love. When will the Eala doubles match play? Probably either tomorrow or on Saturday. I'm thinking probably it's going to be on Saturday because tomorrow she's got to play. Like her and Jovic have to play singles, so I don't think they want to put them on too much tennis. They'll probably want to give them a bit more of time. So I would say she probably plays doubles on Saturday just to spread it out a bit. But also, what would I know? I don't know. I'm not the scheduler. But that's what I would do. I'd be like, you know what? You guys are playing singles today. Let's put you on the doubles tomorrow. But we'll wait. Schedule should be coming out by the night session. As Dimmitrov hits it long, and it's 1-love Atmane in the second. By the way, Chad, I didn't mention this. They did play in Acapulco, but a weird thing happened in Acapulco with Atmane. He didn't get defaulted, but he lost the match on a point penalty. So he was playing Kecmanovic, and it was a weird situation. It's not the first time it's happened. It has happened before in history, but really weird that he was receiving on the match point. He was returning serve. Kecmanovic was on the baseline ready to serve, and Atmane went to the towel, wiped his face, and then Kecmanovic was waiting, and then Atmane walks over to receive serve, and the umpire's like, too slow, point penalty, time violation, point penalty. Now, the way that the point penalty system works, the way that the time violation system works, is that you get a warning, and then you get a penalty. Now, when you're serving, this is where I find it really interesting. When you're serving, if you get the warning, and then if you do it again, you lose your first serve, right? If you're receiving, you can't lose a serve, right? So if you get a warning, the second strike is a point penalty, which feels harsher. I don't know. Would you rather lose your first serve or lose a point? I mean, at least you could try a second serve. You get a second chance on you. So I always find that so harsh. Does the penalty fit the crime? If you're wasting time as a receiver, should you be penalized harsher than if you're wasting time on serve? Now, obviously, there's the debate of you got to go at the server's pace. So yes, maybe that is. Maybe you should lose a point as a returner because you should be at the pace of the server. But I don't know. I always found it so weird that the second strike for a receiver is a point penalty, and the second strike you lose a first serve, and you go, is that the same thing? I don't know if that's the same thing. But anyway, so that's what happened to Atmane. It was match point. He was He was wiping his face with the towel. He was taking a little bit extra time. Kecmanovic was waiting. It actually showed, if you go watch the replay of it, it actually showed, Kecmanovic was like legitimately like looking around being like, where's he gone? So it wasn't like, Kecmanovic ran to the line and was like, he's not ready. Like, Kecmanovic was ready to serve, and Atmane just completely walked away. So it was legitimate. Like, it was a time violation against the returner. But yeah, I just find it fascinating. And look, if he had a time violation point penalty, it means he already had a warning. So it happened already. I don't know if it happened on returner serve or if it happened on his serve, but he was wasting time earlier. So it wasn't like he wasn't warned. He got the warning earlier. So, but a very strange situation. Anyways, 30-40, Atmane with a smash, winner. As he gets a chance to break here early in the second. So yeah, very, very strange situation. All right, only the second break point of the match against Dimmy. That man shanks the return. Good serve, Dimmitrov. We get the deuce. We get the deuce. And that goes out by Atmane. And Dimmitrov takes the advantage. As Atmane hits the approach wide, and Dimmitrov holds 1-all. 6-4 first set. I'm reading the wrong numbers. All right, first to the default, second serve. As Atmane puts away 15-love. Serving to the forehand of Dimmy. Return into the back of Atmane. Dimmitrov forehand into the back of Atmane. Atmane in the net. 15-all. What is the special thing you said would be happening? By the way, chat, I didn't even realize that we were all the sound effects were muted. So that's fun. My bad. 15-all. Serving to the back of Dimmitrov. Return goes in the forehand of Atmane. Atmane puts it away. That's a great inside-out forehand. 30-15. So the special announcement is that we're for the foreseeable future, we're collaborating with Tennis TV and their the Tennis TV application. So if you want to watch, want to keep up to date with the tennis, then you can. There's a link down below that you can scan the QR code on the screen whenever it appears. Right there. There it is. Perfect. So yeah. So we've got our own tennis talk unique link. So it supports the channel if you go through the links. So yeah. So that's pretty fun. So I'm excited for that. All right, 2-1 Atmane. So yeah, so it's kind of a big deal. So I'm excited, and hopefully more to come, like more news to come. That's just the start. I'm hoping that with more things. Hopefully I'll be talking more about it next week. But yeah, so if you want to watch remember it's only ATP, WTA, They don't cover at the moment, but WTA are not there, but ATP. So Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome, like all the 1000s coming up on the men's side. You can watch them through there. So yeah, it's cool. It's going to be a cool little collab over the next over the next bit. Nice, Elaine. Well, that's the best way to watch this channel for sure. But yeah, I'm working hard behind the scenes with to get more. Hopefully, there'll be more things to go with the through the collaboration in the future. I can't say anything, but I'm working hard behind the scenes to try and get some more things to come. This is just the start. QR code, make sure you scan it, make sure you download, and and by the way, and again, not it's actually a really good time to get it, because until the French Open, we've got so many big tournaments coming up on the ATP and the WTA, but on the ATP as well. Like the stretch between the Australian Open and the French Open, it's only you're going to be able to watch every big match on Tennis TV anyway. So and on through the app anyway. So it's probably it's the best time to get it now, because we have so many big tournaments coming up. Like I mentioned, we've got 5 Masters 1000s coming up. I didn't even mention we've got Hamburg is coming up before the French. We've got Barcelona, Munich. You can watch all of that, right? So it's a good time to get it at the moment, because of the amount of events that we've got coming up that are going to be shown on through the Tennis TV app. 15-0. As that goes the net by Atmane on the return, 30-15. Piricard, my bagel in the second. Oh yeah, Piricard. By the way, we got other matches going on. Myshak, Piricard, winner plays Djokovic. That's happening. We got Venus coming up next. We'll watch her next. Townsend is up against Buzkova 6-2 love. So that's fun. Kruger's beating Lynette at the moment as well. 30-all here. Atmane trying to get this break. Yeah, chances in the last game. Yeah, so the entire clay season, all that stuff. So yeah, it's a good time to jump on it now, because there's gonna be a lot of tennis we're covering over the next couple of they'll be covered over the next couple of months. As Dimmitrov, it's a great serve out wide, and Atmane's backhand goes long. Where can I send business information? There should be a link, an email address down below. 40-30. Serving the backhand of Atmane, 4-0 from Dimmitrov. Atmane slice, goes in the ground. And again, tell you, Dimmy is picking on that backhand. Dimmy's been around, right? He's been around for a while. He's, a veteran, full veteran at this stage, right? And he learned from last week. Okay, last week his forehand was going crazy. I'm not going to hit to his forehand. I'm going to make him hit backhands. And he's pretty much just picking on the backhand. And Atmane is not it's not working the backhand as much as it, really at all. And Dimmitrov knows it. Return goes into the forehand of Atmane. Atmane sprays the forehand. And also, the fact that Dimitrov's picking on the backhand, you've also got to think that every time Atmane gets a forehand, which was what was working so well against Dimmy last time they played, which was last week, every time he gets a forehand, there's even more pressure on Atmane to go, when he's winding up for that forehand, and in his brain, he's probably thinking, I'm not getting many forehands today because Dimitrov's picking on my backhand. I better make this work. And then he sprays it and misses it. So the pressure that's on the forehand for when he gets one, is immense, right? When he gets a chance to hit the forehand, he's got to make it count. And he hits that one long, love 30. Whereas last week, the serve forehand combos were, and the forehand was working so much better because, Dimitrov was probably giving him more chances to hit it, right? But yeah, so many unforced errors from Atmane. And that forehand is spraying all over the place. Love 30. First serve the fault. Second serve. All right, good second serve, Atmane. 15-30. There's a bit of fault from Atmane. Second serve. There's a return slice from Dimmitrov into the forehand of Atmane. Forehand from Dimmitrov goes long. And it's 30-all. And Atmane trying to fire himself up. Oh, and then ace out wide. He needed that one. Clutch. 40-30. Great serve from Atmane out wide. 40-30. Serve again. Here's a fault. As the return goes into the forehand of Atmane. Slice Dimitrov. Goes long and a big shout from Atmane. All right. Atmane holds 3-2. He stays in front. All right. 3-2. Waiting for that Townsend bet to hopefully smack. Okay. All right. 3-2. Atmane leads. Dimmitrov is one of the best players ever to go away from the ATP Tour for months because of injury and then come back and still win and can get a winning streak. What a player. And his backhand. Yeah. He has a great backhand for sure. For sure. What's up? So we've got Venus. Venus coming up next, and then yeah, I don't know. Chat. What do you have any suggestions? Give me some matches you want to watch today because we kind of like. I mean, I'm up for suggestions because we got nothing else going on after this, and I've got to just sit around all day because it's a Friday and there's not much to do on a Friday. And like I don't have much to do unless I just go to the thrift store, but well, I might do that. But yeah, do you have any? Is there anything that you like? I know, like Dimitrov and Venus were the two big priorities, but they're at the start of the day. Do you have any other? Is there any other matches that you want to watch? Yeah, there's not much going on today, but that's just kind of how it is with these with the 2 week 1000 sometimes. Hey, thank you Soza for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Welcome back. Rujic Brady. Cartel's playing right now, so we can't watch her now. We can't watch her in the next quarter. Okay. Vekic. Okay. I mean, isn't Vekic Valentova happening like now or soon? So I don't know if we can watch that. I'm talking about like, is there anything later in the day where we could kind of... I don't want to do a double header because that doesn't make sense. Like Vekic Valentova is going to be on during Venus match, so I don't know if that's that. We're not going to be able to watch that. Anything happening later in the day that is interesting. 15-all. Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. I ain't watching those Spurs. Are you kidding me? I'll only start watching them if they're down like 2-0 or something. Up the Arsenal. Yeah, Hurkacz is playing it next as well. So Hubie's match is going to be clashing with Venus. So that, again, unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, is there anything happening sort of like after the Venus match that you want to watch? Like, is there anything happening this afternoon in Indian Wells that is worth watching? It sucks because, like, there are a lot of good matches that I'm... Like, all those matches you mentioned, I'm also like, oh, yeah, I'm interested. But they're all, like, at the start of the day, and then there's, like, nothing at the end of the day. 15:30. Dimmitrov forehand into the backhand of Atmane. Atmane in the net. 30-all. Mickelson? Okay. All right, 30-all. Save your voice. Well, yeah, tomorrow's going to be hectic. So we're talking now like, oh, nothing to watch. And then tomorrow's going to be just like, I can't watch all this. It's too much. 30-all. Dimmitrov serves a fault. Uh-oh. Second serve. Oh, yeah, I'll just watch F1 practice. Sure. That's true. That's actually true. All right, return. Into the backhand of Dimmitrov. Atmane forehand. Into the backhand of Dimmitrov. As Atmane, forehand down the line. That's a great shot. Dimmitrov gets it back, though. As Atmane forehand cross into the backhand of Dimmitrov. Again, the forehand of Atmane. Dimmitrov can't get that one. Atmane's forehand comes alive. That's what he was doing last week at Acapulco. The forehand line. And then the inside-out winner. Might have been the best point he's played on the forehand in this match. Beautiful shot. Ball barely bounced. He sort of hit like an inside-out forehand short. Wasn't like a deep winner, but it just was far enough away. All right, break point Atmane. Might have been the best point he's played all day. Forehand goes into the backhand slice of Atmane. Into the forehand of Dimmitrov. Atmane backhand again. Into the forehand of Dimmitrov. Now Atmane's got his forehand. And he hits a winner with it. Nice. Points to the coach and says the forehand works now. 4-2. Come alive with those two forehand winners. All right. 4-2. Atmane in the second. How's Dimmy serve? It's all right. It's doing okay. It's been all right. Let me have a look. What does his serving look like? Yo!
Hi, great match.
Thank you, Joshua, for the £2. Appreciate that. Yeah, it has been a great match. I tell you, we've been pretty spoiled the last three matches. We had the Chen Christian epic last night. Chapo Tsitsipas match was fun. And then this one. So we've been pretty lucky the last couple of matches to get some... we've been picking the right matches, I guess. Even though there hasn't been many matches to pick from. Luckily, we've been watching the... we haven't watched anything... There hasn't been any boring matches. The Badosa Putin-Saver match was the only one that kind of didn't really do much. But every match we've watched since then has been interesting, which is great. And we haven't even got to the seeds yet. That's tomorrow. So yeah, so Dimitrov's serve, he's doing all right. 2 aces, 1 double fault, 66% of first serves in, 76% of first serve points won. He saved 1 out of 3 break points. So Atmane's converting the break points. But he's all right. Not doing terribly on serve. Not doing amazingly, but it's okay. His serve's been okay. It's been good. That man misses again. 15-30. But yeah, the big difference in this set is the Atmane forehand has become lethal. Tracking at the moment at a 9.7 shot quality is crazy. Sorry, 9.6, it just changed. Anyways, backhand, he must have just missed one. Backhand in the net by Atmane, 15-40. Yeah, his forehand is insane. First set, it was like a 5. Now it's at a 9.6. Like, it is... And that's the shot that beat Dimmitrov last week in Acapulco. So, it's all about that forehand for Atmane. All right, but break points for Dimmy to get back on serve. Atmane with a good serve. Saves one. 30-40. 30-40. Atmane serves again. That's a fault. Second serve. Second serve, the backhand Dimmitrov. Atmane backhand into the forehand Dimmitrov. Atmane backhand cross court goes wide, and Dimmy gets the break back. Well, he wasn't playing with fire, Dimmy, that time. He's like, you know what? Oh, by the way, chat, did not even mention, completely forgot. David Nalbandian is coaching Grigor Dimitrov. I just saw him for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, he's the coach. Completely forgot. And I made a mental note to go, you know what? Next time we watch Dimmy, it's going to be fun to watch David Nalbandian in the box interacting. Completely forgot he was there. David Nalbandian, arguably one of the best players never to win a slam, is coaching Dimmitrov, which is great to see because Nalbandian, even though I was a Hewitt fan, it was a nightmare to watch those two play, and I saw him play Leighton in the flesh and beat him in 5 sets one time. But Nalbandian is one of the, he was the only player to beat the big three consecutive, like in the same event. He is Nalbandian. If you don't know about Nalbandian, you go watch Nalbandian stuff because Nalbandian is one of the best players, one of those best players of the 2000s. All right. And he's coaching Dimmitrov, which is cool. I think did Nalbandian coach someone else before? Not like recently, but he's coached before, I think. I think Nalbandian was a coach before. He coached somebody, I think, a couple years ago. I can't remember. Because Gaudio was the captain of the Davis Cup team. So he wasn't the captain coach of the Davis Cup team. But I think Nalbandian, he's coached someone since he's retired before, but he's not like, obviously not. No, anybody know? Maybe I'm getting confused. Anyway, he's coaching Dimmitrov. Now it's cool to see David Nalbandian back in the tennis world. 4-3. Atmane leads. That's with a forehand from Dimmitrov. Atmane puts up a lob. Dimmitrov smash. Atmane pass. Forehand winner down the line. Too good. And he puts his hands up and he's like, I got that forehand. Points to his ear. And the crowd appreciate it. Atmane's forehand is going crazy in this set. That was a good smash by Dimmitrov, but Atmane just rips it for a winner. Uh-oh. Love 15. As Atmane return, backhand goes in the net. Dimmy's like, you're not getting a forehand this time, buddy. All right, 15-0. As with a forehand from Dimmitrov, that's a great shot. Lob goes up by Atmane. And then Dimmitrov puts away the smash. 30-15. By the way, Chad, just looking at tactics here for Atmane. I talked about like the first match they played, match last week they played. I keep saying the forehand down the line and the forehand inside out from Atmane was so effective for him. against Dimitrov. In the first set, it was not working at all. He only won 1 point on forehands down the line in the first set out of 7 that he went for. In this second set, his forehand down the line is ridiculous. Hitting so many winners down the line, or winning so many points down the line on the forehand. And the inside-out forehand is still a little sporadic, but yeah, that forehand down the line is working very well. As he hits the backhand down the line, then comes in there with a volley, Atmane. Dimitrov can't get it, 40-30. Yeah, so the first set, he won only 1 point out of 7 when he went down the line with that forehand. In this set, he's 6 out of 7. So that's a huge improvement. So from a 14% to a 86%. So he's winning so many more points with that forehand line, down the line shot, which is great to see. Anyways, 40-30. It is windy, yeah. It has been windy for sure. Forehand return goes in the backhand slice. Dimitrov. Atmane's going to slice it back. Dimitrov with the forehand into the backhand of Atmane on the stretch. Dimitrov on the attack. Forehand cross-court winner. And he holds 4-all. All right, 4 games all in the second. I think I'm hearing David Nalbandian say, break him now, break now. There he is, Nalbandian in the house. The new addition to the Dimmitrov coaching team. All right, 4-4. There's a default second serve. Serve in the back into Dimitrov. Great return, Dimmy. Love 15. It was a good second serve from Atmane, but Dimitrov flicked it into onto the baseline, and he caught Atmane by surprise. Love 15. Oh, he coached Kecmanovic. I knew he coached somebody. Yes, he did, didn't he? He coached Nalbandian coached Kecmanovic. I remember, yes. Yes. As the forehand goes out by Dimmy, and it's 15-0. Yeah, so he coached Kecmanovic back in the early 2020s. Yeah. All right, 15-0. Atmane serves an ace. All right. Dimitrov's like, you sure? Okay. 30-15. Serve again from Atmane. The back into Dimitrov. Atmane forehand. Dimitrov gets it with a forehand swat, but he missed it. Atmane 40-15. Turn goes into the forehand of Atmane. Dimitrov forehand goes long. And Atmane gets the lead again. And it is 4-5 or 5-4. Dimitrov's going to serve to stay in it. All right. Cool. All right. How we doing, chat? Where are we watching from? Let me know in the chat where we're watching from. Is Troitsky coaching Kecmanovic now? I'm not sure. Not sure who's coaching Kecmanovic. Yeah, apparently he is, yeah. So Nalbandian 21-22 coached Kecmanovic, and then yeah. And then Troitsky. I mean, Kecmanovic has had a lot of coaches. He's had like 6 coaches. But yeah, he's getting coached by Troitsky at the moment. Watch it from Narnia. Where's that? Ireland, Malta, Canada, Denmark, Slovakia, Adelaide, Chicago, South Africa, Madrid. Orlando, Maine. Norway. Good one. All right, forehand. Into the backhand of Dimitrov. Forehand from Atmane. Dimitrov slice lob. Atmane comes in with a smash, puts it away. And it's love 15. Atmane just saying sorry for hitting the smash into the crowd. And he's just apologizing, making sure they're all good. Love 15. Love 15. Michigan, Liverpool. Okay. Nice. First serve's a fault, second serve. As the return goes into the forehand of Dimitrov. Atmane backhand. Dimitrov backhand goes cross court. Atmane with a forehand into the backhand of Dimitrov. Atmane with a forehand again goes down the line. There's a winner again. He's pumped up. Love 30. Atmane with a big fist bump into the ground. That forehand line is working so well right now. Beautiful shot. Dimitrov's like, why do I hit it to that forehand? Didn't he learn, Dimmy? His forehand is crazy. All right, love 30. As that man hits a backhand return long. 15-30. Apparently I missed an entertaining day yesterday. Had a busy day at work. That's all right. Yeah, we had the Chapo City Pass match was really fun. That was a fun match to watch. All right, Dimmy serves a fault. You know Atmane's going to try and hit that forehand. He'll run around the backhand if he has to. Second serve. Goes straight to the forehand of Atmane, who shanks it. Oh, that was a miss. That was a miss. Dimmy went straight to his forehand, and Atmane's like, ooh, it's what I want to have. Give me that shot. And he just smacked it out. He's like, ooh, easy forehand. No. You had too much time to think about it. 30-0. Serve goes long from Dimmy. Second serve. Big point here. I wonder if Atmane's going to... I mean, Dimmy's going to go out wide to the backhand, right? He's not going to go to the forehand on second serve. No, he does. He goes to the forehand again. Atmane goes down the line into the backhand of Dimitrov. Atmane forehand again to the slice of Dimmy. Dimmy in the net. Why did he go to the forehand, Dimmy? I guess he wanted to play it safe. Didn't want to go out wide and miss the second serve. 30-40. Set point for Atmane to take us to a third. All right. Oh, Suzanne, that's... sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're feeling all right. Hopefully some tennis will make you feel better. 30-40. Serve out wide the forehand of Atmane. Return goes in the forehand of Dimitrov. Atmane, backhand pass. Dimitrov volleys. Too good. Too good, Dimmy. Deuce. All right, deuce. Dimitrov saves a set point. We could get Chapo Sinner. Yeah, that could be a third round match, right? Serving to the forehand of Atmane. Atmane shanks it wide. Good first serve from Dimmy. And he gets to advantage. Advantage Dimitrov. To stay on serve. As the return goes in the forehand of Dimitrov. Atmane backhand. Goes long. And Dimmy holds. 5-5. Hey, Arian, thank you for the $5. Any update on Medvedev because you were stuck in Dubai? Yep, Medvedev, Rublev, and Khachanov are all in California. They've all made it. They all made it here to California. We talked about a little bit earlier about the journey that Medvedev took. He had to take a car. He had to drive to Oman, but the driver didn't have a passport, so then they had to go back, get his passport, get the driver's passport, and then get to Oman just in time to then get on a plane to go to Istanbul, and then go from Istanbul to California. It was a journey, but they all got out safe, and they're all in California. Love 15. Rublev and Khachanav's journey was not as hectic, I don't think. They met in Oman, so they didn't travel together. As Dimitrov in the net. Ooh, poor miss. He knows it. 15-0. What an adventure. Ooh, I don't know if it's an adventure. I don't think... I mean, it didn't sound fun. 15-0. Tottenham scores. Boo. Boo. 15-0. Up the Arsenal. Is it a 4 now from Atmane? That goes long. 15-30, Dimmy. 15-30. All right, serve again. Here's a fault. Second serve. Oh, it's a double fault from Atmane. All right, 15-40. That's the wrong word. No, that's all right, DJ. I was just making fun. I mean, it depends. Some people, maybe that is an adventure for some people. 15-40. Remember, the winner of this match plays Alcaraz in the second round. 15-40. Atmane serves. Into the forehand of Dimitrov. Atmane, forehand, inside out. Dimitrov with a pass. Atmane with a volley. Dimitrov with the backhand. Oh, he just missed it. He went with a flick backhand cross court. And he just missed. 30-40. Serve out wide. Too strong by Atmane. Dimitrov in the net on the return. And it's deuce. And we're a fault. Second serve. Into the slice of Dimitrov. Atmane forehand to the backhand slice of Dimitrov. Atmane forehand goes down the line for a winner. There's that shot again. All right, advantage Atmane. Let me have a look, chat. What's his... how's his forehand shot looking? Atmane in the second set, his forehand is at a 9.7. Okay. All right, buddy. All right. There's a 5.5 in the first set. Now he's up into a 9.7. That's do not hit it to the forehand if you're Dimitrov. Avoid the forehand. And he goes now to the backhand of Atmane. Forehand from Dimitrov. Into the backhand slice of Atmane. Dimitrov forehand. Into that Atmane forehand. Atmane goes in the net this time. Okay. Forehand on the run not working that time. Deuce. By the way, very interesting here. I'm looking at the performance rating. Atmane's actually has a better performance rating right now at a 7.27. A 6.81 for Dimmy. That's interesting. That Dimitrov, even though he's closer to victory, by all metrics, is not doing as well. But he's serving a little better. and that's helping. But Atmane should win this set based on his performance rating, but he's making some errors now, and that might change in a couple of seconds. All right, advantage Dimitrov. But yeah, Atmane right now is playing better. But Dimmy just hanging on to that serve, and Atmane not converting that set point and not holding serve here is not helping him at all. All right, advantage Dimitrov to get the break and serve of the match. Good body serve. Return goes short. Atmane comes in, puts it away. Beautiful serve and forehand combo. That was a body serve, proper body serve. Dimitrov had to defend himself like this. And Atmane puts away that forehand. And we get the deuce. First serve, the fault, second serve. As Atmane makes another error. All right, advantage Dimitrov. Dimitrov to take the break and serve the match. As with a fault from Atmane. Second serve. Gave your super chat a shout out earlier if you missed it. Yeah, Aaron, I don't know why it didn't show up, but I saw it, and I already I thank you. As we get a forehand now from Atmane into the forehand of Dimitrov. Atmane backhand down the line. Dimitrov's there with a slice, but it's in the net. We get the deuce. Yeah, did you must have super chat and and ran because I read it out. I don't know why it didn't come up on the screen though. Maybe there's a glitch. I was talking about Medvedev. Yeah. I explained it earlier, and I also explained it again. So just rewind the stream, and you can hear what I said about Medvedev. Anyway, slice goes in the backhand of Dimitrov, and here's a backhand passing shot winner. Lovely shot from Dimmy. Another break point for Dimitrov. A beautiful backhand cross-court winner. All right, Dimmy to get the break, serve the match. Yeah, no worries, Arian. I don't know why I didn't play on the screen, but all right, backhand return into the forehand of Atmane. Good shot. Dimitrov gets on the stretch. Atmane with a forehand inside in. Dimitrov on the pass, but Atmane volleys it away. Oh, Atmane survives. Jeez, that was close. Dimitrov hit a backhand cross-court winner with Atmane at the net in the last point, and that one, backhand down the line, but Atmane with a lunging volley winner into the court, just. And, Atmane survives. I know I say, playing survive a lot, but that was, that goes in, game over. He hangs in for now. Great backhand from Dimitrov, but Atmane with an equally great volley. All right, serving to the forehand of Dimitrov. Forehand of Atmane. Dimitrov forehand into the forehand of Atmane. Crossed into the backhand of Dimitrov, who slices it into the forehand of Atmane. And Atmane slice forehand goes long. Nice backhand slice by Dimmy there, mixing it up. Advantage Dimitrov. I'll tell you this. Dimitrov backhand is actually doing better than the forehand, slightly better in this set. Oh, sorry, slightly better in the match. All right, Atmane serves. Oh, a massive ace down the tee. Oh, what was that? What serve was that? How big was that serve? How big was that serve? That was a huge serve. 209 down the tee. Okay. All right, deuce. Now we've got a fault second serve. As the return goes into the forehand of Atmane. Cross court in the backhand slice of Dimitrov. Atmane forehand. Shanked it. All right. Advantage Dimitrov. Advantage Dimitrov to get this break. Serve the match. As Atmane serves again. Oh, he's tried to go out wide, but he served a fault. Second serve. Serve into the backhand slice. Dimitrov, he shanked it in. No, he missed it. It floated out. It's a good second serve. Back to deuce. Alcaraz leads 4-2 against Dimmy. Yeah. And they played here last year. And Alcaraz won pretty easily. All right, Atmane serves. Into the backhand Dimitrov. Return goes to front of Atmane. Oh, he goes straight to Dimitrov's backhand, but Dimmy hits it wide. Oh, Dimmy guessed right. But he overran the backhand and missed it. It would have been a tough backhand down the line. Atmane was ready for it. He knew that Dimmy was going to try and hit that line again. By the way, if you remember Rafa in the pink shirt at Roland Garros 09, Dimitrov's definitely wearing a similar color. Like that pink is definitely reminiscing of like Rafa 09. And I know people that love Rafa don't want to hear that, but that shirt that Rafa wore in 09 when he lost to Soderling, very similar color from Dimmitrov. Slice goes in to the forehand of Dimmy. Dimmy in the net. Atmane hangs on to serve. That was a big hold. All right, Dimmitrov going to serve to get to a tiebreak. If the winner of this match plays Alcaraz, it could be Atmane versus Superman. Good comparison. All right. When Federer was playing what we called Dimitrov Little Fed. Baby Fed. Probably Baby Federer, yeah. That's the nickname. Baby Fed. All right, Atmane. By the way, it was that lunging volley winner that saved that game. It was a few points earlier, but that definitely saved the game. All right. I hated those shoes Rafa wore. The Nike Max Air Court Ballistics 1.3, so bulky. Yeah, were they trying to channel like an NBA kind of thing with that? Maybe that's what they were trying to do. Trying to go for a bit of an NBA vibe. I know Federer and Jordan, didn't they? They released a shoe, didn't they? I'm pretty sure. There was a time where Jordan was, MJ was, I'm pretty sure they did, right? Yeah, the Nike Zoom Vapor AJ3 racer shoes, apparently. Because I remember Jordan was in, like, at the US Open watching him one time. I collected 2.3 and the 4.3 maybe a long time ago. Yeah, it was back in, like, I want to say it was, like, back in, like, the late 2000s. That Jordan and Fed collabed on a shoe. Here we go. I found it. 2014. So I was a couple of years off. It like had that. Is it called elephant print? Is that what that's called? That kind of like texture that the Jordan shoe had, and it had like it was on the Federer shoe. Yeah, the Nike Court Zoom Vapor AJ3. Yeah. Anyways, 15-0. Dimitrov serving to get to a tiebreak. Whoops. As that goes in the net by Dimmy. All right, first serve, default, second serve. As the return goes to forehand of Dimmitrov, inside out to the forehand of Atmane. Dimmitrov forehand inside into the back end of Atmane. Atmane in the net, 30-all. By the way, Chad, if you want to buy a pair of these shoes that I just mentioned, and you want to get them, you want a signed pair because Federer signed a pair of the Air Jordan 3s. You can get them for $15,700. It's 30. Oh, that's in Australia though, so maybe if I win the lottery. Anyways, that man hits it out 40-30. Chance to get to the tiebreak. They're about $2,000 regular, I think. So if you want those shoes, they're only about $2,500 American. I mean, if you're a Federer fan and you like NBA, and you like the Bulls or something, I don't know. Maybe it's worth it. They would be kind of cool to have, personally. If you're like into tennis and you're into like sneaker culture and NBA and that kind of stuff, maybe it's worth it. 40-30. There's a fault from Dimmy, second serve. Second serve, Dimmitrov. Into the forehand of Atmane. Forehand from Dimmitrov is wide as he tries to go inside in down the line to the Atmane backhand, but he completely missed it. All right, deuce. Serve. There's a fault. Second serve. Into the backhand of Atmane. Forehand now from Dimmitrov to the backhand of Atmane. It's Dimmitrov forehand again, the backhand of Atmane. Into the forehand of Dimmitrov. Down the line to the forehand of Atmane. He goes cross-court to the slice of Dimmitrov. Atmane runs around his backhand and hits an inside-out forehand. Great shot. Dimmitrov slices back. Atmane backhand now down the line. And Dimmy back with a slice into the forehand of Atmane, who goes down the line for a winner. Oh, that was a lethal shot. And it's a set point for Atmane. Chad, I've been talking about this forehand. The Atmane forehand, lethal in this set. And he's just showed why. The forehand down the line has been his shot in this set. Advantage Atmane. Serving the backhand of Atmane. Forehand from Dimmitrov. Atmane with a forehand down the line. Dimmitrov with the volley goes long. Why would Dimmy come in on the forehand to the forehand? And Dimitrov's racket just went flying into the net. Oh man, Dimmy just went crazy. That racket is gone. He snapped that racket. And he gets a code violation. By the way, chat, I know it's probably a silly idea, but should we put like red cards here for like code violation? I'm just kidding. I don't know how we'd even do that. Like we would just put red cards next to the names of the players just so we know. There's not enough code violations. If code violations happened every match, maybe we would. Anyways, Dimmy's racket just went straight to the ground. Atmane, 8.3 performance rating in that set to a 6.7 for Dimmy. Dimmy had a lot more break points, but like I said, Atmane played better. He was the better player in that set, and it was all because of that forehand just came to the rescue. It went missing in the first set, and it came to the rescue in the second. And specifically, the forehand down the line. Going for down the line forehands was the very successful in that second set. And that's how he beat Dimmitrov last week when they played in Acapulco. That forehand down the line was a huge weapon. And first set it didn't work, but second set it started to hit its mark. And yeah, the forehand down the line from Atmane. And he finished with two forehands down the line. One was a clean winner, and the other one was a forced an error of the volley. All right. Dimmitrov gets a warning for breaking the racket. Atmane points to his ear and gets the set. Yeah, Dimmitrov. Oh, that was a that was a proper throw. He slammed that and it went bouncing into the net. That was a proper racket smash, that one. All right, we're going 3. We're going 3. And Atmane serving first in the third as well. All right, who's been in the final set, chat? By the way, just looking at match performance, match ratings, right? So right now, Atmane's at a 7.49. Dimmitrov at a 6.74. Shot quality-wise, Dimitrov's leading the serve on a 7.8 with a 7.4 for Atmane, but the 8.0 for Atmane on the forehand. And remember, it's an average. So the first set, he was terrible. Second set, he was godlike on the forehand side. So an 8.0 is more like it. His average is a 7.3. So his forehand Atmane is the difference right now, or at least was the difference in that second set. The returns, they're both, returning okay. If 6 is good, like if 6 is okay, they're both around that 6. Well, Dimitrov's at 5, but Atmane's at 5.9. Dimitrov backhand's okay. At a 7.1, or is good at 7.1, which is about his average. But yeah, the Atmane forehand, that has been the savior in the second set. 15-love. Dimmitrov forehand cross court, slice from Atmane. Dimmitrov forehand inside out. Atmane with a passing shot in the net. Ooh, he went central with that pass. Missed it. He was winding up for that down the line and he didn't go for it. All right. 15-0. Return then up by Dimmy. 30-15. Atmane wins. Dimmy needed 2 sets. Hopefully I'm wrong. Okay. Pirikar lost. All right, so Myshak is taking on Djokovic as Atmane misses the forehand down the line. And it's 30-all. And so a fault second serve. Serving to the backhand, Dimitrov sliced into the front of Atmane. Dimitrov sliced again. Atmane runs around his backhand, hits an inside-out forehand, but Dimitrov's got it with a forehand to the backhand of Atmane. Backhand from Dimitrov into the front of Atmane again. The backhand of Dimitrov. Atmane forehand again to the backhand slice of Dimmy. Dimmy in the net though. And a big shout from Atmane. 40-30. All right, 40-30 Atmane to take the early lead in the third. First serve is a fault. All right, as that goes out by Atmane. Deuce. Atmane is French and a lefty. Not good for Carlos. I am worried now. Hope Dimmy wins. Okay. Have Atmane and Alcaraz played, though? I don't think they have they? No. All right, Dimitrov back into the forehand of Atmane. As Dimitrov slice into the forehand of Atmane. To the forehand of Dimitrov. Atmane forehand into that Dimitrov backhand. Atmane with the forehand goes down the line wide, and it's advantage Dimmy. Advantage Dimitrov. As the return goes the backhand of Atmane. Atmane's backhand goes wide. And Dimmy gets the break early in the third. Okay. Atmane gets gets broken. All right. All right. Dimmitrov with a fault second serve. As we get double fault. And it's love 15. As Dimitrov, good serve, 15-0. I'm just having a look here at some tactics that have been effective, or some things that have been effective against Alcaraz over the last couple of seasons, right? When it comes to what sort of strategies, and look, some of this we know is Atmane puts up a lob after a great lob from Dimitrov, and his Atmane headbutts it. 30-15. Nice from Dimmy. So something that's been some players have had success with against Alcaraz in the past. Inside out forehand or inside in forehand winner. So ripping that inside out forehand has worked against Alcaraz at times. It's worked 50% of the time against Alcaraz over the last couple of years. Volleys have seemed to work 57% of the time. So, and again, this is not really anything new. We kind of know this, right? That, if you come to the net against Alcaraz, make him hit the passing shot, put the pressure on him. Yeah, sometimes he's going to hit a ridiculous shot, but you got to be able to come to the net and volley against Alcaraz. Plus, also, he's going to draw you with drop shots, so you need to have a good volley against Alcaraz because he's going to make you volley, even if you don't want to. So volleying, ripping some inside-out forehands, isn't it? And Dimitrov has beaten Alcaraz, and he's got those two things. So the Atmane game, the down-the-line forehand, it hasn't been super effective. In fact, if we want to flip it, the down-the-line backhand for a right-hander hasn't been effective, which would be the Atmane forehand against Alcaraz. So, yeah. Atmane's game that's been good at times today might not actually work against Alcaraz. Now, the serving of Atmane will be huge. If Atmane wins this, it will be huge. And he can volley, but I think the it feels like Dimmitrov may cause a little bit more trouble for Alcaraz than Atmane. Unless Atmane is serving ridiculous. But I feel like Atmane's game would be better against someone like Sinner, right? Because we've seen Sinner struggle with players that take time away, whereas Alcaraz doesn't seem to struggle against Bublik. Has he played Menchik yet? I don't know. But he doesn't seem to struggle against the same guys that Sinner does. But that's what's so interesting about them individually, right? Is that, Sinner has, and when I say struggle, I mean rarely struggle, right? Sinner and Alcaraz rarely struggle against anybody. But when they do have their issues against players, it's against different types of players. Like Norrie, Goffin, right? Some of the worst matches Alcaraz played last year. Sinner doesn't lose to those guys, but Sinner has Bublik and Menchik that, trouble him, right? So it's kind of interesting. Totally different. Like Norrie and Bublik are totally different players, right? They don't play anything the same at all. All right, Atmane. Trying to get back on serve. As Dimmitrov back into the front of Atmane. Dimmitrov slice. Goes wide. We're back on serve. Atmane breaks. So yeah. By the way, who do you think Alcaraz would rather play? Who do you think he would rather play? Do you think Alcaraz cares? I mean, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe he's like, it doesn't matter, right? Right now, it doesn't matter who he plays. But who do you think he would rather play? There's no right answer, because I think both of these guys, first of all, both of these guys have a very tough task. Alcaraz is impossible to beat right now. But who would cause more issues? I'm leaning who's more likely to upset Alcaraz, right? I think it's Dimmitrov, right? I think Dimmy's probably more likely just because he has beaten Alcaraz. Whereas Atmane, he's gonna have to serve ridiculous. And good luck. But that might not be enough because Alcaraz is pretty good at returns. And he doesn't let big servers, bully him. 15-0. Venus is playing after this, by the way. Carlos struggles against lefties. Really? I mean, against Norrie. That's one lefty. 30-15. I mean, is that true? Didn't we do this already? Somebody said that one, and I just went, well, no, haven't we already done this? Or was that for somebody? Remember somebody came in the other day and was like, so-and-so, no, it was Gauff, wasn't it? Gauff doesn't like playing lefties, and it was like, actually, no, she dominates lefties. All right, Alcaraz, 44 wins, 14 losses against lefties. Okay. I mean, he lost to Draper, but Draper was on one last year. Lost to Norrie, but Draper and Norrie are the two. I mean, British lefties he has a problem with. He's lost to Rafa. No shame in that. Yeah, Norrie's beaten him 3 times, Draper 2, so it kind of skews the 44 and 14 is not that's not a bad record by any stretch. I mean, we're talking about 76% of the time. Is Dimmitrov with a volley winner? Too good at the net, 40-30. I mean, he's 76% against lefties in his career. I don't think that's bad. And like I said, Draper, Norrie have 5 of those 14. So you take Draper and Norrie out of the equation, right? Because those guys have got. I think it's more of a tactical thing than purely leftiness, right? 83% against lefties who are not named Norrie or Draper. Plus, he's lost to Rafa twice as well. So, Nadal, Norrie, Draper. Humbert's beaten him once. That was in the Paris Masters. But also remember that at the Paris Masters, Alcaraz has probably put in some of his worst performances at the Paris indoors. I mean, he lost to Norrie, he's lost to Humbert, both upsets. So, I mean, yeah, Paris indoors is maybe it's more the Paris indoors than the opponent. Lefties in Paris in November are a problem. Anyways, deuce. As Dimmitrov backhand into the forehand of Atmane. Dimmitrov gets it back. Atmane forehand inside in. Dimmitrov pass. Atmane volleys a winner though. Advantage Atmane. Eala plays tomorrow. Dimmitrov Just kind of looking at the ground. Hey, DJ, thank you for 38 months. Appreciate that. There's a bit of fault second serve. He's not losing here to a lefty. It'll be straight sets. Yeah. I agree. I don't think it would be massive shock if Alcaraz lost to Atmane Indian Wells. This is arguably his best 1,000. I mean, second best 1,000 behind Madrid, maybe. Let me have a look. Is that factually accurate? Let me check. His most successful 1,000 event. It's got to be Madrid, right? And then this one. Let me have a look. Yeah, 88% winning record in Madrid. 2 titles out of four attempts. And then 87% here, but he's played 5 times, won 2 titles, made the semifinals 4 times out of 5. So 20 wins, 3 losses. It's his most successful 1,000 by wins. 15-2 in Madrid, 12-4 in Cincinnati, 7-1 in Rome. He's only played twice though. So yeah, this is his most win. He's won more matches here than any other 1,000 event in his career. As Dimmitrov hits a drop shot off the net and says sorry, and it's back to deuce. So yeah, there's only 3 guys who have beaten Alcaraz here in his career. One was Draper last year. The other was Rafa in 22. And the other was Andy Murray. So yeah, look. You got to be pretty damn good to beat Carlos Alcaraz Indian Wells. Murray, Nadal, Draper, right? So, yeah, you got to be pretty good to beat Alcaraz. And, by the way, Murray beat him back when he was, like, outside the top 30. So, yeah, I mean, Indian Wells is Alcaraz's house. And, you got to come in here and you got to play the best match of your life if you're going to beat Carlos at Indian Wells. He's sort of the man around here. 4-1 goes in the backhand slice of Dimmy, and then the volley in the net by Atmane. And it's 2-1. Dimmitrov breaks. So yeah, you gotta be pretty damn good to beat Alcaraz here. It feels like you got to be British or Nadal. If you're not British or Rafa Nadal, you can't beat him. Sorry. It's not going to happen. That's just I didn't make the stats up. He made them up when he won. Yeah, Indian Wells might be Alcaraz's best, favorite tournament outside the slams, right? Who has he? He's actually, and by the way, the losses he's had, 3 losses, like I mentioned, just ridiculous. The players he's lost to here, how crazy. Murray, Nadal, and Draper. But the players he's beaten here is even more impressive. He's beaten Sinner, Medvedev twice, Zverev, FAA. He's beaten Sinner twice. He's beaten Dimmitrov here, Shapovalov, Monfils. He's beaten Draper here as well. He beat Draper here in 23. It was a retirement win, but he'll still take it. FAA he's beaten twice here. Cerundolo. He's beaten Norrie here in a quarterfinal in 2022. So, yeah. So, his record here, Alcaraz's record here is pretty good. 5-1 against top 10, and the only player that's top 10 to beat him here was Rafa back in 2022. And that was a 3-setter with a dust storm, if you remember that. 9-2 against top 20 players at Indian Wells. So, again, if you're going to beat Alcaraz here, you better be damn good. Pretty good. It's pretty good. So, if I'm looking at the draw now, right? If I'm looking at the draw, I stand by that he's still got a tougher draw than Sinner. But you're going to have, the winner of this match, let's say Dimitrov plays Alcaraz. Yes, Dimitrov has beaten Alcaraz, but Indian Wells Alcaraz is something different. Rinderknecht could push Alcaraz. Also, the court being the way it is, Rinderknecht did make the final of Shanghai, and these courts, if it's a night match, it could play like Shanghai. It could be slow. So, Rinderknecht Alcaraz could be an interesting one. Ruud and Vachereau, I don't know if they've... I mean, Vachereau maybe. I mean, he did well at Shanghai too, right? But I don't know. Ruud, I mean, look, I'm surprised Ruud hasn't done better here before, but... And then in the semis... in the semis, you've got Djokovic, Draper, Demonor, Norrie, Bublik, and Cerundolo as sort of the big threats. We know Norrie can beat him. We know Djokovic can do anything. Draper beat him here last year. Bublik, I don't know if he can beat him in Indian Wells. Demonor, I'm scared. Quarterfinal, my bad. Quarterfinal. Bublik, Norrie, Demonor. Again, I don't think any of those guys... Norrie's the only one, and we know Norrie, how difficult Norrie is against Alcaraz all the time. And then semifinals is Djokovic, Cerundolo, Draper, Medvedev, Humbert, or Fritz. And again, Draper's beaten him here before. Medvedev is... I don't know if he could beat him here at Indian Wells because the court surface Medvedev doesn't seem to like it. But yeah, Fritz here. I don't know about Fritz here against Alcaraz. Maybe. I mean, Fritz loves playing here. Humbert, I think the courts are too slow for him to beat Alcaraz. Same with Lehechka. But yeah, so again, it's not easy. I still stand by that Alcaraz has a tougher draw than Sinner on paper, but we'll see. We'll find out in a couple of days when Alcaraz plays the winner of this match. 40-15. What was Runa doing in Dubai? I think he lives in Doha, doesn't he? So he was recovering, he was rehabbing in Doha. All right, 40-15. Dimitrov. Hey, Lucas, thank you for the 28 months. Appreciate that. A bit of slice from Atman. And then Dimmy with a drop shot in the net. And it's 40-30. Have a look. What's going on in this third set with Atman's forehand? Because we know that has been the... It's been the difference maker. I mean, good and bad. Like, the reason why Dimmy's got the break here and the reason why Atman won the second it's all been Atman's forehand. Dimmy's played well, solid. But Atman's, forehand being like this, that's been the big difference. Dimitrov, by the way, is at a 9.2 shot quality in this final set on the forehand himself. So his forehand is crazy. 3-1. Atman's at a 7.6. Not bad. All right, 3-1 Dimmy. Final set. And getting some feedback from Nalbandian. By the way, Atman has missed... he's had a couple of forehand down the line chances, which has been that was the shot that got him the second set. Hasn't done much with them. He's actually playing... forehand down the lines, actually, he's only won the point twice out of 5 attempts. So his forehand's sprayed a little bit. Down the line forehand. That man's got to get that working. Runa lives in Monaco, I think. Yeah, he was it, but I think he's rehabbing in Doha. At least that's what I read, that he was doing rehab in Doha. 15-0. All right, 15-0. Yeah, so My Shack will take on Novak. My Shack versus Novak. Here we go. 15-0. As we nice that wide from Atman. 144 miles. What's that? 231k out wide. Jeez, that's a huge serve. And then an ace out wide again. And it's 40-15. Two massive serves in a row. $40-15. And another ace. All right. 3 aces in a row. And Atmane stays in this match. Keeps pressure on. All right. Nice work from Atmane. But Dimitrov's got the break in the third. 3-2. I wonder what Dimmy's career would have looked like if he didn't get injured all the time. I got to be honest. I don't think the injuries... I don't think that's the question. The question would have been, I mean, like everybody in this generation, what would his career have been like if there was 3 guys that didn't play? I don't think injuries have stopped Dimmy from achieving greatness. I think, Roger Federer did that. Rafa Nadal did that. I think the big injury one was I wonder what Dimmy's career, what his Wimbledon last year would have looked like if he didn't get injured, right? What would Wimbledon have been like? Would he have been able to win Wimbledon last year? Had he have beaten Sinner and not got injured? But again, I don't know if Dimmy's injury, like, has Dimmy, I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Has Dimitrov's career been affected by injury as more than I remember? I mean, definitely affected his Wimbledon. We know that. But I mean, Del Potro is the guy that we all look at and go, man, if he didn't get injured, what could have been? I mean, Dimmitrov last year did retire a lot. He retired a lot last year. And look, that's because he's 34 years old, and that's, he's a veteran of the tour. And besides the horrible injury at Wimbledon, there were a lot of little injuries the last couple of seasons that he's been on and off the tour with. So yeah, maybe the recency bias on the injuries, but yeah, I think in his prime, Dimitrov injuries didn't cut him down. At least I don't think they did. I don't think he was injured during. Like, I'll tell you this, chat. Okay, retirements for Dimitrov. He's retired 16 times. 4 of those were last year. 8 times in the last 3 seasons. So 16 total times he's retired. 8 of those have been since Indian Wells 23. So the last 3 years, 8 retirements. So double that in the last 3 years. So 31 to 34. Or 32 to 35 if you want to go with that, because he's nearly 35. Yeah, he's retired a lot since over the age of 32. Indian Wells 23, Wimbledon twice he retired. One to Medvedev, one to Sinner. Australian Open he retired last year at in the first round. He retired in Roland Garros first round last year. US Open quarterfinal retirement against Tiafoe in 24. So yeah, it sucks. He's 5 Grand Slam retirements in the last 3 years. That's not great. Even in 22-21, I mean, in 2021 he retired at the French and the US Open, and then in 2022 he retired at Wimbledon and Winston-Salem. So before 2020, I mean, 2012 he retired Wimbledon second round against Baghdadis. That was his 4th retirement ever. And then it wasn't until 2021 that he retired for a 5th time. So he went a stretch there in his peak, right? Because prime Dimitrov was probably 2017, right? 2016, 17. Between 2012 and 2021, didn't retire from a match. But then since 2021, he's retired, 12 times in the last 5 years. So he got to 30 and he's retired 5. He's retired a hell of a lot since 30. So that's probably not uncommon, right? I mean, I'm sure if we looked at any player, any player that's, look at Andy Murray, you look at probably Rafa, you probably look at, Djokovic as well. Their retirement, they probably retired more post 30 than before 30, right? Some players retire in their 20s a lot as well. Maybe not Djokovic. Djokovic did retire a lot early. But either way, probably not uncommon to see that, like, once you get to 30, your body hurts. Anyways, love 30. Dimitrov. Dimitrov looking to get the double break and serve for the match. I tell you, chat, Atman has just been a little too volatile with the way that he's played. He was great in the second set, Atman. He was hitting his spots, but he just hasn't been consistent throughout this match with the strat. All right, second serve. In the back end of Dimmitrov. Forehand now from Atman. Dimmitrov gets it back with a forehand into the front of Atman. As Dimmitrov forehand goes long, 30-0. 30-0. Oh, ace down the tee. Great serve. I tell you, Atman's service rescued him a little bit in this set. He's serving a lot better. That's his fourth ace of the set. Ninth of the match. 123 down the tee. All right, 40-30. Serve to the back into Dimmitrov. Volley from Atman. No. Oh, Atman left it. That was a wind. That was the wind. So Dimmitrov, he chipped a return, and Atman thought it was floating long, but the wind blew it back in. Yeah, that was a loopy slice return, but the wind just stopped it. Like, you could tell that the ball just started to slow down and then drop. And Atman's just looking at him like, ugh. And Dimmitrov didn't apologize because he meant that. He's like, yeah, I meant to slice it back, and I meant, I was trying to use the wind. 138 miles. That's great. What's 138? That's going to be 140, right? 240? 220. All right. Anyways, advantage Atman. Good serve. Windy in Wells. Yeah, it's windy right now. There's a bit of fault from Atman. Second serve. By the way, Atman's got the wind at his back, so these serves are coming through even quicker. Second serve in the backhand of Dimmitrov. Return goes to the slice backhand of Atman. Dimmitrov forehand in the net. Atman holds. So the wind's going from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen. So it's going, it's flying up the screen. And Atman's got it at his back. So those serves are just like looking even quicker because of that little bit of a wind boost. All right. Atman stays in this. 4-3. 4-3. And the winner plays Carlos Alcaraz on Saturday. All right. And we've got Venus Williams coming up after this. And then let me have a look at the schedule. See if there's anything that pops out that I've completely overlooked. Have a look. All right. Where is the schedule? There it is. So Vekic Valentova just started. Hurkacz is playing now as well, right? Mickelson's playing tonight. The night matches we've got Korda, you got Stearns, you've got Brady, you've got Zhang, the Michael Zhang. Yeah. All right, Dimitrov, 30 love, good serving. As Dimmy serves the fault, second serve. Yeah, we've got Venus after this, though. So we'll watch Venus, and then we'll see what we do. We might not do anything. We might take this opportunity to rest up for tomorrow. Yeah, they're showing the palm trees in the wind. It's gotten windier in the last couple of last hour or so. It's gotten real breezy. All right, 30-15. By the way, Atman's going to be serving into the wind. He's going to be serving into the wind, so that might actually help Dimitrov. The serve might get a little nerfed. As the return goes in the front of Dimitrov. Oh, Dimitrov sprays it long. That was a wind. The wind's at his back, and he just hit that a little bit too flat. 30-all. Yeah, Dimmy's got that breeze at his back. 30-all. Serving to the backhand of Atman. Return goes to the forehand of Dimitrov. Atman backhand. Again to the forehand of Dimitrov. Into that Atman forehand. Dimitrov forehand inside out. Atman goes down the line with the forehand. Dimmy gets it back. Atman runs around his backhand. Hits a forehand to the slice of Dimitrov. Then Atman slaps the forehand in the net. And he punches the racket. Yeah, that was a bad miss. He got the shot he wanted and he completely stuffed it up. 40-30. Yeah, Atman played a good point. And he got the shot he wanted, but he didn't execute. 40-30. As Dimitrov, too strong, 5-3. Clutch from Dimmy at 30-all. Maybe a little fortunate with the getting the error, but he'll take it. All right. And now Atman's going to serve into the wind. Now Bandy and giving the instructions. All right, 5-3. Dimitrov. And Atman is struggling. All right, first serve the fault, second serve. As we're back in slice from Dimitrov into the slice of Atman. Dimitrov forehand into the backhand of Atman. To the forehand of Dimitrov. Atman shanks the forehand wide. Great shot, Dimmy. Just a slap forehand on the rise. By the way, chat, who was Agassi watching? I saw Andre Agassi was here yesterday. Who was he watching? He was in the box of somebody. Who was he watching? I didn't see the play. I saw that he was there, but I didn't see who he was watching. Love 15. As the slice return goes in the forehand of Atman. Slice from Dimitrov again. The forehand of Atman. Into the forehand of Dimitrov, who shanks it wide. Oh, he was watching Giron, was he? Okay. Nice. All right, 15-all. Yeah, I'm not sure what the partnership is there. If Agassi was just coming in for the week to give him some help, or if Agassi's working with anybody, but yeah, working with Giron maybe for the American events. I don't know. Mentoring, yeah, maybe just in for the week. 30-15. The return goes into the forehand of Atmane. And Atmane puts away the forehand, 40-15. Yeah. The hell? Well, I guess I need a new light. All right. All right. Atmane holds. 5-4. Dimitrov's going to serve for this match. And we got Venus coming up next. And then I don't know. What happened? One of my lights went out. All right. I think Vekic Valentova is going to be 3 sets over 2.5 hours, you reckon? Now, what is going on? So we've got Hurkacz and Kovacevic are at 4-all. Marchenko and Sigamund. Sigamund's up 4-1. Yeah, Vekic, Valentova are 4-all first set. So Townsend, Kruger, Cartel have all won. Shevchenko, Myshak have both won. So that's where we're at the moment. Trip to the thrift after Venus's match. Yeah, maybe. All right, 5-4 Dimitrov. As he serves in the backhand of Atmane. Dimitrov backhand, cross court. Atmane pass, but Dimitrov volleys a winner. All right. 15 love. Dimitrov 3 points away from the win. And revenge over losing last week to this same man. All right. As Dimi serves again. Into the forehand of Atmane. Return goes to the forehand of Dimitrov. Atmane down the line forehand. Into the forehand of Dimi. To the backhand slice of Atmane. Dimitrov forehand again. The forehand of Atmane. Oh, he sprayed it wide. He went for it. That would have been a winner. Had it dropped, that would have been a winner. But Atmane just missed it wide. 30 love. Dimitrov 30 love. Serves a fault second serve. Serving to the backhand of Dimitrov. Oh, sorry, Atmane. And Atmane goes wide. 40 love. Dimitrov with 3 match points to play Alcaraz in the second round. All right, 40 love. Dimi serves. Into the forehand of Atmane. Return goes in the forehand of Dimitrov. Atmane. Forehand down the line. Shanks along. And Dimitrov gets his revenge. He lost to Atmane last week in Acapulco. But he takes the win in a windy Indian Wells third set. And he's going to play Alcaraz in that second round. Dimi Carlos, let's go. All right, GG's. Good win by Dimitrov. Good, solid performance from Dimi in the end. wasn't easy. That second set, he had a lot of chances, Dimmitrov, in that second set to take it, but Atmane was just playing at a different level. And in the end, he had to go to 3, but he gets it done. And he will now take on Carlos Alcaraz, the Indian Wells legend. A man who loves playing here and has beaten Dimmitrov here before. All right. Yeah, and your prize is Alcaraz. That's it. Congratulations. Play Carlos now. Good luck. Good luck with that. All right. All right, see you later, DJ. I've got a match on my birthday. Hey, happy birthday. Alcaraz should have this, right? I think so. I mean, Alcaraz should win, should beat Dimmitrov, but still, it's interesting because Dimmitrov has beaten Carlos. So, that is, if anybody's beaten Alcaraz, that person should be taken seriously, But he's going to have to probably come to the net a lot against Carlos. Like coming to the net against Carlos is going to be just one of many things he's going to have to do to try and dethrone the guy who is kind of allergic to losing right now. Alcaraz is allergic to losing. He doesn't like it. Not a fan of losing, Alcaraz. Right now, 2026, go do the impossible. But it does feel like. It also does feel like if you told me, if like in 3 days' time I wake up from a 3-day coma and you said, "Hey Cam, guess what? Dimmitrov beat Alcaraz and he broke the streak," I'd say, "Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense." Like that wouldn't shock me, right? It would be like a wow, that's crazy, but it wouldn't be like a oh my god, Dimmitrov out of everybody in the world beat Alcaraz. That's the craziest thing I've ever. No, it wouldn't be crazy at all because he's done it before and. He feels like he would be a streak stopper. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Now, Queen Venus coming up next. She's taking on Parry. So jump on over and we'll be back in about 5 minutes to watch Venus at Indian Wells. So jump on over here. Hey, thank you, G, for the 21 months. Appreciate that. Thank you, Graham for the 21 months. Appreciate that. But good win by Dimmy. Good fight back from Dimmy in that final set because there was a lot of breaks early in that final set as well. They were going break per break. Just a couple of stats before we get out of here. Dimmitrov, 26 winners, 33 errors, 31 winners and 47 errors from Atmane. Atmane, 21 forehand errors. So the forehand betrayed him? What's the word? It deserted him towards the end. Dimmy with the 8 volley winners and the 9 forehand winners. That was what helped him throughout that match. Performance-wise, interesting performance rating actually in favor of Atmane, 7.25 compared to a 6.7. So 6.98 for Dimmitrov. So the performance rating was actually in favor of overall was in favor of Atmane. So Atmane overall was playing at a higher level more often, but Dimmitrov won the points at the end that mattered. Dimitrov's serve slightly better. Atmane had a slightly better return. The forehand was pretty even, and the backhand from Dimmitrov was slightly better as well. So yeah, so Dimmitrov just slightly better in those categories. And yeah, it was pretty even though. Like looking at most of these, I mean, 8 double faults from Atmane, that was definitely a problem. And Atmane, Dimmitrov did have more chances on the serve. And maybe we put it down to the wind at the very end there. Atmane, the wind was getting a little bit, was causing him some issues at the end, and Dimmitrov was able to just hold steady in the windy conditions in that final set. That when the wind really picked up. Nah, Greg's. I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan of Tennis Insights and the TDI. I just love it. I like it. If you're a tennis stats nerd, it's it's paradise. It's a candy store, right? You're walking in, you're like, oh my God, all these stats. So there, yeah. So if you like stats, you're in the right place. All right. Let's watch Venus. She's coming up next. 6-4, 5-7, 6-4. What a match. We've had 3 great matches in a row now. Hopefully we get another one. We've had some great matches over the last couple of days, or last 24 hours. But let's see what Venus can do, because we never know. This could be her last Indian Wells, so let's see if she can get a good win here. But Dimmitrov, he's going to play Alcaraz in a couple of days.